Here's a question. As we approach our 250th, is it possible for us to turn around our education to restore civic leadership and enjoy summer vacation with our family all at the same time? Well, Mount Titano Media says yes. This is the book for our 250th and for all ages, Finding Our Words, Words That Made America. This collection of the greatest speeches delivered in American history, many almost entirely forgotten, displays those very words that defined and can still drive the American mission. And now you can take them anywhere this summer with the Audible edition. These words that move the world are read by Michael Knowles, Andrew Klavan, Spencer Klavan, Bill Whittle, U.S. Army generals, and leaders in classical education. Every speech includes a powerful introductory essay written by acclaimed scholar Tracy Lee Simmons, whose preludes set the stage for a deeper understanding of each work. Mount Titano Media publishes single works and compilations of the greatest works of Western civilization for education at all levels and for independent lovers of learning and culture. Finding Our Words, Words That Made America, a great book for our 250th and always, is available now in paperback, hardcover, Kindle, Audible, and even in Spanish. Get your copies at Amazon and on the Mount Titano Media website. That's Mount Titano, Titano, MountTitanomedia.com. Visit www.mounttitanomedia.com.
Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson from the Daily Signal. We've talked a lot about Gavin Newsom and California in particular. Apparently, Gavin Newsom will be running for president in 2028. I don't know whether his slogan will be, I will remake the United States in the way that I remade California. Let's hope not. But he's now suffering some scandal allegations, and it's intrinsic, or it's no accident given California is a one-party state. I mean that literally. 7 of 52 congressional seats are Republican, 13%. Both houses of the legislature, Assembly and Senate, have super Democratic majorities. There has not been a statewide Republican for well over a decade. We have not had a Republican governor in 15 years. The vast majority of Superior Appellate and Supreme Court appointees are now left-wing, maybe even Democrat is an unfair characterization. They're very hard left. The point I'm making is there is no deterrence for illegal behavior in California, given the mass exit and odyssey of conservatives out of state, perhaps 10 or 12 million in total in the last few years. So the population is increasingly left-wing, and it's reflected in its politics. Gavin Newsom had a problem. Dana Williamson was his chief of staff for years. She has just been convicted of mail and bank fraud. She was using campaign monies when she used to work for ironically, the would-be replacement of Gavin Newsom. Javier Becerra is running against Steve Hilton, the Republican, for the governorship of California, and she was draining his campaign fund for personal use. And apparently he is pleading that he didn't have any idea this was going on. You can believe that if you would like. In any case, the legislature is all right, left-wing. The government is all left-wing. So you have a uniparty, and there's no oppositional press. There's no oppositional money. Silicon Valley, $14 trillion market capitalization, all left-wing. Los Angeles Times, such as it is, San Francisco Chronicle, left-wing, etc., etc., etc. The latest accusation, though, is really disturbing. In the last 10 or 15 years, the state of California has given $600 million plus to so-called nonprofit charities. If you examine these charities, they're almost exclusively left-wing and reflect the political makeup of the California legislature and the recent governors. And how it works is simply they pick out certain environmental, ethnic, political activist groups, and then they use our state money and endow them. And then those groups further the Democratic left-wing control of the state by doing things like suing Republican developers or stopping the oil industry or trying to get subsidies for their particular favorite solar panel or wind project. And then, of course, they give money back to legislatures and the governor. In Gavin Newsom's case, the particular charges is he's directly responsible for routing over $350 million in our taxpayer money to his favorite charities, which would be bad enough because some of those charities have donated back to him, but his wife is associated with two charities, one of which she gets a salary of $150,000 plus a year, and some of the charities that he has routed money back to her. And then in another case, a charity that she has been the beneficiary of $4 million. So basically, Mr. and Mrs. Newsom go home at night and they discuss how her charity should spend $4 million that Gavin gave. Gavin says to his wife, Jennifer, how's my $4 million of the taxpayers' money being used? Jennifer says back to Gavin, pretty well. We're promoting left-wing causes and we may want to donate to your cause for a re-election. That's how it works. Is this criminal? He's under investigation and may be indicted. Gavin Newsom is furious. He's very, very angry because he says that this is lawfare. Gavin, I want to correct you. Lawfare was when Joe Biden was president and he was aware of what you were doing and routing these state funds to your favorite charities along with the legislature. And he knew that your wife was a recipient as a director of one of these charities and a director of another at no pay. And yet no one investigated you because you were a left-wing governor in a left-wing state during a left-wing presidency. Now there's no cover, no exemption. And now you're going to face scrutiny, and we have no idea whether these allegations are true or not. I will add one final Parthian shot, Gavin. You have a history of ignoring issues that are destroying this state. What I'm getting at is you shut down the entire state during the COVID epidemic, and you shut down K through 12, and you made the argument to us that this was an existential threat and that no one could leave their home, even though children were not susceptible to a serious case of COVID. You kept them at home. And then you went down to a sporting event in Southern California without a mask, and you were out in the public. You were caught with lobbyists in the ultra exclusive French Laundry Northern California restaurant, violating the very terms that you imposed on us. And what am I getting at? While you're directing all of this money and you're all over the country campaigning, and you've been campaigning for 2 or 3 years, and when your social media brags it's going to hit Trump in the mouth and you're going to do this and it uses all these 4-letter words, you're not doing your job. You don't have any idea how we're going to get out of this high-speed rail boondoggle that has spent 16, 17 billion without 1 foot of track. We've been over a year of a tremendously devastating fire in one of the most historic neighborhoods in California, the Pacific Palisades fire. There hasn't been any rebuilding. You have had no plan for that. Under your directorship, we've had 3 or 4 existential forest fire in the Sierra Nevada mountains. No change in course. We have the highest gasoline taxes and the highest gasoline prices. You were bragging that you're stopping oil and gas exploration and production in one of the wealthiest oil and gas states naturally in the country. You've shut down the timber industry. You've done all of this, And yet, you're not even addressing any of the problems. You have no solutions, and you're campaigning when you're under a cloud of allegations of rampant fraud. Will this? What's your future? Will you still be a candidate for president? Again, I'll start where I finished. Your only slogan that you can run on is, I will try to make the United States a new country, just like I tried to make California a new state. And I think that will get you zero support when you're honest about what your intentions are. Thank you very much. This is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Signal. Please like, share, and subscribe to be notified for more content like this. You can also check out my own website at victorhanson.com and subscribe for exclusive features in addition.